good evening. Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Talking Kolams. Hey, Kamala. We're going to be in conversation with Hema Kannan. Yes, there she has sent me an invitation. Okay, Hema, join.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
It's nice to be able to see you after, a
All the
series of
conversations.
messages and conversations.
Yeah.
Firstly, a very, very warm welcome to Alap.
Thank
And
you.
here's us acknowledging this fantastic collaboration that we've had with the Lotus Shakti for the last 2.5 odd weeks. And it's going to go on till the end of the month. And we're really looking forward to, personally, me, I can't draw to save my life. So I watch your videos with just so much a sense of awe, really, and just wonder how you create these sanctuaries of beauty with such ease and elan, really. So fantastic, Hemaji.
Thank
This
you.
I read a beautiful quote on success, and the quote was really about how success is the sum of all efforts repeated day in and day out. And this evening, just as I was getting ready for this live session, I thought that that was in a certain way true of the kolam itself, because the
Exactly.
kolam is like how James Clear says, it's like an act of habit. You
Yeah.
kind of work on it, you repeat it day in and day out, and then you get better at it as you go along. I mean, unless of course you're like me and you just don't know how to draw, but yeah, but mostly like that. So so I wanted to also wanted to tell everyone here that we just randomly decided to do this conversation, and the universe conspired that it would be on Varalakshmi.
Yes.
And how fantastically the universe works. I just do believe that if we do something earnestly, I want to keep telling myself that the universe conspires to just make these beautiful things happen. So here we are talking about kolams with a very, very fine kolam artist from Mumbai, Hema Kannan, who's also the founder of Lotus Shakti. And we're going to be talking to her about all of that. But firstly, Hemaji, I want to ask you if you drew a kolam today, what was it like? And typically on Varalakshmi Nombu, what type of kolams do you draw?
I drew 3 columns today. Believe me. It's like a part of me just wanted to sort of, pray to her in this way. So I started my morning with the Paddy column, which I have posted, all
Right,
white on the
right.
threshold. And I had begun a small column yesterday, which I didn't have time. It was too dark and raining. So I finished that column. And the third column is 90% done, which I could probably give you a glimpse of. Whoever are live will catch
Love to see. Oh, wow. Oh, that's like, okay, Pookalam. Yeah, lovely.
Yes. So this book column has taken a lot of time. I was doing the last bit when I saw it's time for us to go live. So I've done 3 columns. And actually, as you said, it did not strike me that you're going to be talking on this Varalakshmi evening. And I
Right.
thought, oh my God, this is so good. I mean, not only am I wearing a sari with a purpose, I have a dual purpose now to
Yeah,
be with sari and all my, jewelry that I
fantastic. Yeah.
like. So yeah, it's a wonderful evening, and it's a perfect time to talk about columns and goddesses and
Yes.
Shakti
They,
and everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
lovely. Himanshu, I'm going to start off firstly by asking you, like, do you remember, when you were sort of attracted to the world of columns? Do you remember, was it like a fascination that you had as a young girl? Do you remember the first column that you did? Did you grow up in a sort of a traditional household where columns were an intrinsic part of your growing up? Take us back a little and then we'll kind of move to what right now.
Yeah, this is a question. Actually, I have already, I say it as a part of my conversation, but you're the first one to ask me. Yeah, my first memory of kolam is seeing Amma do it. And it sort of intrigued me, early morning she would wake up and draw on the threshold. And when she saw that I was interested, she said, learn it. And she just very casually taught me. And then when I used to see the patterns, I would draw them, but my intrigue and my excitement was I wouldn't know to read Tamil. Okay, we were in Maharashtra, but
Yeah.
Amma subscribed to this Tamil magazines. And in some of these magazines, there will be this column that would come up, and I would, take my notebook and try to copy that whole thing down. Those are my oldest memories. Once I had it in my notebook, I wanted to try it, and I will tell Amma, I want to do this. Amma will say, okay, next festival, you try it in Makolam. Then that's when she taught me Makolam. After that, I did that once, and then every festival it was handed over to me. I am in charge of the Makolam. Once that happened, everybody around in the building, everybody said, come and do in my house during Navratri. And I was like, okay, this is the best exposure and opportunity for me. Yeah. So those are the best memories. It was not, Amma was not very, yeah, we are traditional, follow some tradition, but she was very open-minded. She never forced us to do anything. I mean, we
Right.
like to wear pavada shatte because it was not a regular wear.
Yeah.
If it's festival, you would get into this finery. And my sister would always protest that no, she didn't want to wear this. But she let us do everything. We wear pants at that age also. At the same time, where she would celebrate all festivals. And there was a time when from Pavade she got me a half sari. She did not let me miss any of those things. So that's why the
Right.
Kolam came, Navratri festivals, everything. Yeah, we were.
Right. Yeah. Uh, Himaji, I mean, I just want to ask you a little bit about the importance of like the idea of transference of culture. The kolam is a sort of a symbol of culture. And do you believe that in a certain way, even though your mother sort of um, just didn't force it on you, but it's sort of you showed and she allowed that interest to kind of, grow and she nurtured it.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a little bit about, how important do you think is this whole idea of transference of culture? You told me you have a daughter, and so I just want to ask you a little bit about, as somebody who's in the space of columns, right, which is considered like a symbol of culture and heritage or whatever. So, would you think that transference of culture is important in the context that we live in?
I think definitely in the sense, if it is a culture that is spreading a lot of positivity, or if it is bringing a lot of happiness in the family, not
Right.
something that you do when you're stressed because you have to do it. You wake up early in the morning and you have to do this, and this needs to be done, that needs to be done, and then it is forced upon you. Then that's not the culture you want to transfer. You want to transfer to the next generation something that they will enjoy. So I never forced my daughter that I love Kolam, you have to learn Kolam. I
Correct.
just let her see that this thing exists. I let her enjoy the Navratri. My son is also, they let them see everything. When the age is right, when they come to it, they will definitely be interested in something or the other. Or somebody will, they talk about it, they have something to say. Yes, my mom used to do that. Like I talk about my mom. So
Correct.
I think by experience, if we transfer whatever our culture is, that's the best way. Instead of telling them, see, this is it, learn this, do this. So as you say, you're saying you don't do columns and all. At one particular time, maybe one day you will get an interest and it will come to you. It's
Yeah.
okay. Till then, that's all right. You just
Then
see
I
others and enjoy, and that's okay. As
take
long as
amazing.
you know what it is, it's fine.
Right, absolutely. Himaji, I want to ask you a little bit about, um, uh, for you, what is your relationship with the kolam? Do you, there is also this whole thing of, like you beautifully said, like, Katale, I mean, you wake up in the morning and then it's like today, my mom woke up and she, put the kolam. I didn't do any of that because I don't like, do stuff like that. I promptly showed up to eat the prasadams, but yeah. So I ask you, like, what is your relationship with it? For you, is it like pure play art that you enjoy, or is it a sort of a culmination of memories of or symbols of culture, of so some sort of a spiritual anchoring? I don't know, like religious beliefs. What is it for you?
Okay, so when I started it off and during Margari, it was something that a transference of culture from my mom. I didn't really explore more. But as I went on drawing and over a period of time, I realized I'm not going to stick to the time of, early morning, except during Margari. I love doing that because there is a scientific reasoning to waking up very early in the morning and doing kolam at the threshold. I found a way to do it. I'm on the 12th floor, but I would go down to my building because I need that fresh air at that time, 5:30 a.m. And I would do it like the traditional way. That's now. I have the time and I
Yeah.
have the indulgence of not having to, cook early for the children going to school. So I'm taking that up now.
Yeah.
But for me, after that, after Margari, like these days when I can do it at my time, I'm not going to see that I have to do it very early in the morning. For me, it is an expression of myself. It's an expression of what I'm feeling. It's an expression of what I've learned, uh, what probably is a story that I would like to pass on to somebody, or something. I read a quote, or I'm find this meaning of these words are spreading more positivity. I'm not trying to put in some religion there. I'm not trying to put in some politics there. I'm just trying to put on some happiness, that when you see, and I put some words with it, all my columns will have some word with it. So
I
when
don't.
I make a column, I connect to it in such a way like I'm pouring myself out. What is there here? What's there here? I just pour it out that way. So I never plan my column in the book. I just sit there and I stand and I watch the center. I probably might do something to the center. I give it time and then let it flow into what I want. And I never plan the end. The way it ends, I feel, okay, so this is what, because I may start with a thought. I don't know where it ends. Once the column ends, I know where my thought ended. So that I would put in a few words. But I always leave a little for the viewer to make their own interpretation. You make a story. I've given you a small storyline. Where you want to take it is left to you. That's what my column is. It's a story that I'm giving you an idea with happiness in it. Okay, so you take the story in a happy ending, not even an ending. You keep it an open, happy, story that you can probably take it to the next day.
Forward. Yeah.
Column for me.
Lovely. See, like a sort of a like an everyday like articulation of your emotions, right?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
not necessarily attaining closure with it
No.
because probably something else that's going to come tomorrow.
Yes, yes.
So, Himaji, have you always, for you, is that act of making the column or drawing the column, is that act both immersive and meditative at the same time?
Immersive. Sorry, I missed the word then.
Immersive at the same time.
Yes, yes, precisely. For me, when the column is done, I'm like, oh, it's over. Yes, it looks beautiful. I like, okay, my expression at this particular time is complete. But then I enjoy the process. The journey of making the column is much more important than the finished product for me. So when people ask me, how do you, let it go the next day? How are you erasing it? But I want to start a journey where I can again have that same immersive and meditative process. Again, it's a new story. It's a new day. You let
Right,
go of the day. You go to the night and you rise up to a morning. It's like that. You finish a column and you go into the next one. So that
right,
journey is what is more fun. Making of the column and creating it and seeing where it will lead is more fun. Once it is ended there, okay, that's where my journey went. It's not like it's end, but yes, the process is what is fun. I just
right.
love it.
So I'm going to ask you a little bit about, have you learned some lessons in terms of uh, like spiritual, because you told me about letting go, right? Because you draw it and then you erase it and it's almost like life, right? You can't live that day like again, right? So I just want to ask you, like, have you learned some valuable key lessons in life's philosophy itself in the column, and the act that you talked about, how you enjoy the process even more than the final outcome, right? These are all powerful lessons that we're
Yes.
all seeking and we're attempting to learn. So do you feel for you the column has been that
Yeah.
sort of everyday act that you kind of learn lessons in human life and endurance in a certain way?
Yes, absolutely. Every day I learn a new lesson. Every day there's something small comes out of it. Every
Mhm.
day I learn how much patience is necessary. You increase your patience by this meditative process. It's not only meditative, it may not end. And while making the kolam, I may be interrupted by maybe a phone call or something at home. And then I should not show irritation because I like going back to it. But that's where the patience is again, it tests the patience. So yeah, it's okay. You're coming back to it. It's all right. If you're meant to come back, it'll come. Then there is a time when you've just done the column and somebody will just walk over it. And for a second they say, oh my God. Then I say, I've taken the picture. That it is it letting go is just cleaning it up when I want to? Letting go is also the fact when somebody walks on it. I am privileged to be staying in an apartment where there is no traffic going around. So when I'm talking about letting go is just when I'm cleaning. No, I'm talking about letting go when somebody by mistake, the courier guy comes and walks on it. My family is a little possessive about it. So they will say, hey, at the door, they will stop, please don't walk on the column kind of a thing. But then these are small, small everyday processes that I learn. Not only letting go, it's like as you said, meditative, and you might start with a process but then it's not going your way, and then you have to change your mind and take it in another direction. So you have to be flexible in that sense. No, no, I am fixated with this, I have done a mistake here, let me erase and restart. No, that's where I was like so obsessively perfectionist, in everything. This needs to be that needs to be there in my 30s and all that. Then
Yeah.
slowly with the columns and everything, no, you don't need it to be perfect. As long as you're speaking the truth from your heart, you're putting it out there, it will turn out good because you're starting good from here. So it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be perfect. That's what I tell my students. I'm not looking for your perfection, I'm looking for your expression. So after
Yeah.
that I began to let go of a lot of things. When the time comes, it happens. And if anything happens, it's okay. You don't need to hold on to it. If you let go, only then you will open up your heart for a new, better experience. These are like small, small lessons every day. Even when I deal with my students who I teach Kolam, I learn from them too. I keep saying, I'm learning from you all too. They also give me new experiences. This Kolam has really brought a lot of change. In Hindi, there is a
Wow.
word, tehrav. Tehrav in life means,
Tera.
something that just grounds you.
Yeah.
It's that comes.
It's literally grounding.
Grounding, yes. Yeah, a pun. Absolutely.
Yeah. I just want to also ask you, Himaji, a little bit about, you also, it's one thing, like, sorry, when you made this point about, uh, I saw similarities between, I've had so many conversations with dancers and musicians, and all that you said was also so similar to, all the whole idea of process about, your work and letting go of that work once it's over, the whole idea of it being an expression. So do you believe that every column, or, you work with so many students, so every column, would you believe, has a story to tell?
Yes, absolutely. I always compare when I speak to my students also. I say it's like either a song or a dance. It's an expression. How you express your dance with your mudras or your facial expressions. Kolam is also like that. Every kolam should tell a story. When my students graduate the advanced batch, I always tell them you have to have your kolam has to have the TLSQ, which is the Lotus Shakti quotient, which is mean it's not mine. It's a that mystery, that story. And when you look that intrigue, this has to be something. Just like a performer who dances on stage leaves behind an impression, thinking that, you go back thinking about that and this of a dance or a song. You hear that it was so good, you can talk about it. You can't take it, you can't put it in your pocket and take home. You'll only have the memory and a beautiful feeling about it. Like that dance or a song, kolam also should do that to you. You look at the picture, you might want to come back to it because nowadays social media allows us to store it up. But then that feeling that remains behind should be there. So my columns, at least, I always want to have a story in it, and I tell my students, do it in a way that you are telling something out of it. It may be the same story again and
Yeah.
again. It's
Yes.
fine. But in a different way, the same song can be sung in so many different pitch and tones and tunes like that. Yeah,
Um,
it has to
so,
be.
Himaji, that, this is an everyday act, right? I mean, mostly every day.
every day.
It becomes a ritual, right? So sometimes do you feel that, and we don't feel great every day, right? Some days we wake up feeling like we're on top of the world. Some days we feel pretty crappy. So, like,
Yeah.
I want to ask you whether your mood, your how you feel, has a direct bearing on your column.
Actually, it's the other way around. If I get up any day crappy, I just have to take the powder in my hand to do a column. And once I've started doing the column, the mood gets very nice and the column comes good. It's sort of, I don't know who helps who, whether the column making helps me or, I mean, the having made that, looking at the column gives me a good mood. I don't know. But it's absolutely, after all these years, it's like in my family, if Kannan, my husband, sees me, pensive or thinking something, you didn't do a column today? He won't ask me anything. He'll look at me and he'll say, your face is, you didn't do a column today? Maybe a
Wow.
column will, I'm so linked with it. It's so much part of me. Yes, but there are crappy days. And if I don't do a column for 4 days because I've taken so many classes, I'm like, I've been hungry for 4 days. I've been starving. I need to do this kind of a feeling.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Literally. So, Hema, you also talked to me a little bit about, I ask a lot of dancers this about the whole idea of sadhana. You
Huh.
know,
Yeah.
could you talk to us a little bit about the whole idea of, to master any art or craft, sadhana is crucial, right? You
Yes.
have to, like my exercise class, they very beautifully say that you don't have to do anything. You just have to wake up and show up, right? The
Yes.
rest we'll take care of, So it's really about that consistency, right? And you kind of repeat, do the same thing over and over again. So
Yeah.
what is that sadhana in the world of Kolams?
Uh, for me, it's not only the physical act, so I should probably take the example of my beginners class. So what I do them in the beginners class is I first give them a technique of how to do a column, absolute beginners. Even if you know columns, I say just keep it aside because you're going to learn it from my point of view. It's our story that we're going to say, so the way I say it. So I keep them a little intrigued with what this art form brings. But through the entire process, even though they may have learned to put the dot and the line the first time that day, I would ask them to do the column with me on the floor. I say, no, you do it. I know you have a notebook. I know you can do it in the notebook, but let's do it on the floor. So throughout the first class, I'll make them do that in the floor and get slightly, just push them a little bit, encourage and appreciate and all that. See, it's not difficult. And then give them the homework. So the homework, I would tell them, you submit it first in the notebook, and then let's see if you've mastered the, magic behind it, or the math or the logic. Once you've mastered it, then I would push them that you have to do it on the floor. So right at the beginners, I'm giving them the homework process where the floor work has to be done. Then they will come back to me saying, Himaji, these lines are not coming. This dot is coming like this. See, they are crooked. I say, you have to practice. If you want to do like me, I've done it for 6-7 years now continuously. So you can't expect, you're in junior KG right now. Do you want to come to the 10th standard? You've got to study. Then you've got to give an exam. You've got to do all these things. You have to practice.
Correct.
So I say, when you're with me, you're practicing. But when I'm not there, will you do it? Then I give them a homework, I give them assignments, challenges. When they go to inter-level and the advanced, I see to it that there is column every day. So when my advanced batch graduates, I have a special marks for average your activity throughout your sessions and your homework submissions and the regular tests that I'm giving. So I try to keep the activity on. My students, if they are online, they know what I'm talking about. So that's the
Fantastic.
practice. Absolutely. Sadhana is something only that will take you where you want to go.
Absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. I'm seeing so many beautiful similarities between, the space that Alap works in,
Yes.
dancers and artists, and Kolam as well. And that's really actually, honestly, how this collaboration happened, because I kept thinking about how there's so much synergy, right? In
Yes.
I want to ask you one question. Would you agree with me in some sense that the Kolam is a prerogative of the female? Like, like, do you have a lot of male students learn Kolam from you?
I have looked so much for some males to join me. When I started it in 2017, I had a couple of males come over, and I was so delighted. I taught them. They were in my building. I was extremely happy. And I am having a few of friends who are males and who are doing very well in the column field. And I did encourage them when they started, last year during the lockdown, when there were a few males who are on Insta. I had a Gemini challenge when I said I'm going to do a column with you. So keep you encouraged and motivated. I said you choose a column that you are comfortable doing, and I will twin with you with the same column. We'll go live. We will show our columns. So that's a way of encouraging. And I had done with I think 3 or 4 guys in on Instagram. It's such a delight because I want to take. I need it to be not gender biased. You know,
Yeah,
anybody should be able to do it.
yeah, but why is it? Why
Why?
is it so?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. And there is a brilliant artist from South also. He does such a wonderful Columns. If he does a Column, Paddy column, it's like, and he is a very good singer. Balu sir, we call him. He's an absolute beautiful singer. So he'll sing and he'll do it. It'll just stop you from what you're doing. I was like doing the columns. We were painting columns in Bangalore just before the lockdown. And I was doing when I just stopped everything and I was looking at him doing the column painting and singing. So
Yeah,
it's so, it's so beautiful to watch. And what I like is the confidence that he has when he's doing the columns. It's fun to watch. It should not be gender biased. I welcome every guy who would come and do columns. You're welcome. It's
so
not a
we're going to
female.
reach out to you for a collaboration with Ala, where we invite like only for men sort of thing. So,
Yes.
right, like, break the whole gender stereotyping that we've sort of come to associate, columns with.
Yes.
Himanshu, just a quick question before we wrap this conversation about about the Lotus Shakti itself, and what is, when you started, what was your intent? And obviously, like all startups, we start something and they grow, and then before that they're almost like monsters consuming our lives. Like I started up really small, and now I'm like, oh my god, like what am I doing with this? So I'm just curious to know the story of another woman who started Lotus Shakti, and I want to know like what was the intent with which you started, and how far has it come, and what are your plans as you go along?
Well, when I started doing the columns and appreciating when I put it on social media, it was more like a commitment to myself. Like
Right.
only when my friends see it and they ask why you've not done a column, it'll push me to do it the next day. Then it started. I was doing columns and it turned into a different expression. And somebody said, "Why you're putting it on your personal profile? Open a page." And I didn't even know what it was. My daughter was just back from US, and I asked her, "How do you open a Facebook page?" And then she said, "This is what you do. You just take a name." I said, "No, for me, this art form is more than what I am. I don't own it. It's like completely ephemeral, impermanence. And let me give it some name which says that the columns have an energy within themselves." And lotus
Yeah.
was my favorite motif. So I always believed in the Shakti. I have a lotus tattoo. So putting that all together, my daughter came up with this beautiful name, and we opened that page and just to post my columns in public. And
Yeah.
I don't I as I said, it's a journey I'm enjoying. I'm not heading towards where I need so many followers, or I'm looking for something, or I'm looking for likes or something like that. No, I just went on doing and things just fell on the lap. Like our collaboration, you just called me when I was right in the middle of stuff, but I said I want to do this because it will keep active. Everybody's asking me to make videos, and your collaboration is like asked me to do this. So some energy that's coming and asking me to do this. So that's what I take each step as it comes, and that's where
Absolutely.
I am. I'm not
Lovely.
really aiming at where I want to go. I'm just enjoying the journey wherever it takes me.
Right. For sure. Himanshu, I just want to ask you a little bit about the classes that you conduct. So, if there are people who probably would like to sign up for these classes, I'm just curious, like, what is the structure of these classes and how frequently do you conduct them?
Okay, so I take a beginners class, which is a 1 day class in which I give them. I form a WhatsApp group and I help them with their homework. The group exists for 10 days. It's not like you've come to my class in the Zoom session and bye bye, you're done with it. I continue. If you were not able to catch up, then I would do a video call and teach you again, so that 10 days that support is there. After the
Hmm.
beginners, I go to an intermediate level, which is a parallel to beginners. It's a 2 day class, but it ends with a test. So I give marks and all that. Then there is an assignment, there are homeworks. This goes for about at least 2 3 weeks. Then
Right.
finally is the advanced batch, which is a 5 session class with a final exam. And this lasts for more than 1.5 to 2 months. So before
Right.
the class starts, I keep giving assignments, some challenges. And after each class, there are 5 sessions, I keep giving challenges and all that. But
Right.
I do not take this in a very nominal charge if people are expecting, because for me, I need you to give importance to this art. If I just charge 100 200, people would come, okay, just do it and buy. No, I'm giving you something out there and I need you to take this seriously, at least in practice. Sadhana, we reach somewhere. You need to reach somewhere. Even if you have done just the beginners class, it's fine. But you need to know that you know this art form. You cannot say, like, I don't know anything about it when you leave my class. And it's something that maybe if you don't catch, your children would have seen you do it. And I've had stories of how the family gets together and have fun. Even now I see pictures, they say, oh, my family, my friends came and we all did a column together. One student posted that
Yeah.
today. Yes, it's an art form that spreads in such positivity. So I like to share it in such a way that it remains with you, not just peep in, okay, this was the class, bye. No, so I do
Yeah.
it quite seriously. I give part of myself to it. Yeah, just
Yeah.
like I give a part of myself to column, I give my entire energy into the class. It's like my family.
Right. I was actually just thinking that, like somebody who does the column, right, has actually, like, if you look at the sort of the parallel between the artist and the audience for a column is to anybody who comes to your home, right? There's like
Yes,
just anybody who walks in, right from the Dunzo person to Swiggy to
yes,
the courier
yeah,
guy. Everybody gets to see what you've created. So it's
yes,
like the pandemic never came in the way of like
yes,
having
never.
audiences, etc. So yeah, so it's just fantastic. I just want to ask you one last question, Hemaji, before we wrap, which is
Yeah.
about as somebody who teaches so many who are interested in the columns, have you noticed that there are a lot of youngsters in learning the columns?
Yes, I'm so thrilled. Some of them, maybe their mothers may or may not be doing columns, but when I see these youngsters, I want to like hold them and say, yes, yes, please, you learn. I will give you special attention. And it's like my own child or my, they have come and they are really, really special to me. I just love it when youngsters come and I encourage them.
Absolutely.
Whatever they want to call me, auntie, whatever you want to call me, but you come and you learn. I just love teaching the youngsters
Uh,
because they are the one who can take it forward. They
no,
may not take it as a culture, they may take it as an art form, but that is fine.
yeah,
It's fine. I've given what I could and they have taken what best, but
not bad.
that's a way to move forward for me.
Like,
Yes,
so the column is so much also like a coming together of science and art, right? Math
yes,
and art,
yes,
right?
yes.
I feel
Not
like
only science and math. When I say it's transdisciplinary, it's everything: math, science, geometry, logic, philosophy, spirituality, astronomy, science, biology, everything put together. There's so much in Golem. It's absolutely intriguing.
fascinating, right? So this whole idea of left and right brain doesn't even exist because it's complete inter.
Complete, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So here Shobha Ganeshan here says that you're a very strict teacher, but amazing encouragement and enthusiasm.
Oh,
Um,
my student.
there's some wonderful comments here. I just want to take a moment to sort of share them with you. One expressions by Devanshi says, such a positive person, full of energy, always taking positives, talking positive, talks about the key of flow, positive practice, let go will love her. Nati Shri says, Kolam is very much like dance and choreography. The fluidity and the math is
Yes,
fascinating. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
I saw also Twisted Tales Veni. She says that's the beauty of Kolam, learning to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Out like
Twisted
you.
Tales Benny. Oh, he's a good friend. He's also a very good kolam artist.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
You
he's a
said
guy. Yeah.
sacrifice, Hemaji. You used the word letting go, right? But it's
Yeah.
also in a certain way like, you
Yeah.
know, that's a very powerful sort of emotion, right? To kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
great. I mean, finally, it's all about like how art really needs to inspire life and
Yeah.
inspire the way we live, I suppose, right? It can't just exist in isolation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh my, I didn't read any of this. I hope you have read. For those who have asked me any questions, I'm sorry I didn't read them.
Ah,
But
no,
yes, if
he
this
said,
gets saved.
Lata Balu Ganapati says she's a very sweet teacher beyond kolam teaching, in fact.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Lai says, love your kolam the most. It's been a year. I'm following it and I'm making kolams at home. Uh, someone says, I'll always enjoy the little poems you put in the description for kolams.
Thank you. That's what I said. I try to say a little story and I leave a little bit balance for you to form your own impression, your own story.
Right. Because every day is a story and life is really about continuity, right?
Yes.
Um, there's never, I read this beautiful book by Arundhati Subramaniam, which basically says that you can't, the beauty of life is that you can't finish everything today. Tomorrow, again, the bed will be messed up and again you have to like restart, right?
Yes. Tomorrow is a new day, always. A new story, a
Tomorrow
new column. Yes. Let go of yesterday.
thank you, Hema. It's been
Thank
fantastic
you.
speaking with you. And thank
Thank
you again for coming on board our lap and really, filling our page with so much beauty and positivity, as clearly is obvious from this conversation. I mean, I didn't realize you were such a positive person until I actually spoke to you face to face. But thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Akhila, for giving me this opportunity. Actually, you motivated me to do more columns and continue to do it with our collaboration. So that's why I took it up. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for approaching.
Everybody join and watch this competition on a Friday evening. Just wishing you all a fantastic weekend. Tomorrow is Onam. I hope you all, some of you at least, make time and enjoy a lovely sadhya. Watch a beautiful Pookolam. Do that at home. Just have
Yes.
a happy weekend. And if you'd like to sign up for Kolam classes, I suppose you know whom to
Oh,
go.
thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you,
Bye.
Akhila. Bye bye.